Hey True Believers, England Teen here with a top 10 worst Avengers of all time. So these lists are done every Tuesday night on I Love Comics, 9 o'clock. We do a top 10 list. I think tonight, as a matter of fact, when this is being published, will be the best independent comic book characters. So you definitely want to check that out. And you bring your list, you vote, and we score everything up. That's how we came up with these. This is the culmination of everybody's scores. We voted on them. Basically, 1 equals 10 points, 10 equals 1 point. You get that. That's how it's done. Alrighty, so make sure you're a part of this. So go over to I Love Comics every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock and have your voice heard on whatever subject we're talking about. In this case, these are the results of the voting on the top 10 worst Avengers of all time. This could be any Avengers. This could be for whatever reason the person held. You know what? I'm talking too much. Let's get to the countdown. So sit back, relax. Let's get this party started. Number 10 was Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. And I made sure that I separated Captain Marvel to Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, or Ms. Marvel. This is a character who's literally killed other Avengers. Why she's welcome back into the fold, I have no idea. She's a horrible leader, a horrible character is written even, and this is one thing that many people were saying. She's whatever she used to be in the 2000s, Carol Danvers has been missing, but then again, so have a lot of Marvel characters. Number 9. Dr. Druid. Okay, so this one is mentioned just because the writing of him. He was always an ass. He was bad to Captain Marvel, the Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel, who at the time was the leader. Just not a good fit for the Avengers. I always kind of figured him as a villain type myself. I guess I was wrong at the time anyway. And so I didn't have him in my list, but I can definitely agree with this choice. Number 8, Squirrel Girl. Now, the Squirrel Girl that I am sure was chosen is not so much this one. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about the early years of Squirrel Girl. It's more when Erica Henderson got a hold of her and she kind of went, let's say, bonkers a little bit. And I get it. I get why people would think that Squirrel Girl is not a fit for the Avengers. She really should just not really be in the Marvel Universe, just be her own character, but that's just me. Number 7, Silver Claw. So this is one I've got to go into the deep thinking here, because this is when I wasn't really reading comics. I wasn't reading Marvel comics for sure. So I'm not exactly sure why people thought that she was a bad fit. By that one picture I could tell, because she looks pretty wild and crazy, and who the frickin' hell is Silver Claw? That's the main thing for me, but she's not the only one I have to ask about that. Number 6, the DMan. Yeah, see, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Just another character here that, why would he be made an Avenger? Was it... See, sometimes I think they're made Avengers for like a story, or they're an honorary Avenger or something like that. This Daredevil and Wolverine knockoff, I don't get it, especially when you've got any kind of Captain America around. But hey, you know what? Marvel thought it'd be a good idea, but Marvel is not the house of ideas anymore. Hey kids, this is the part in the middle where the person doing the video says, hey guys, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell if you haven't done it already, because that's what helps the algorithms. And don't forget to go on over to Ko-Fi, drop $1 in the till to help out the channel. Now let's get back to the countdown. Number 5, Blade. Okay, you're going to see a lot of this in the list. Blade is because why the freaking hell is Blade in? He's a loner. He fights vampires. How many times do Avengers come up against vampires? It just isn't part of it. Narratively, it makes no sense for Blade to join any team that's not a vampire hunting team. This just, or maybe some sort of mystics or something. Midnight Sun's okay. Avengers, not so much. Number 4. Look, I get it, especially after the video game. Not a lot of people like Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel. But let's think about it, as I said on Blade, as a narrative thing. Why would the Avengers take a teenage hero? Why wouldn't they be like, okay, you know what? Why don't you be the friendly neighborhood Ms. Marvel, stick around your house, or something along those lines? We're not going to be taking you into space or having you go up against the likes of the Kree or the Skrulls. Number 3. Rage. Okay, I got Rage, whose sense of self is increased by accepting the hard truths about the world around him, thereby minimizing the rage and maximizing the damn... Okay, you know what? I didn't like this guy in the 90s. It was just... Okay, he's a luchador guy. I mean, it's just the design alone was lazy. I thought Angry Black Man, it's a lazy character. And I don't know. I guess a lot of people kind of agreed with me because he did make it to number 3. Okay, now we're in the runner-up position at number 2. SpiderMan, or shall I say, for the purpose of this list, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I get it. He's been around forever and a day. As far as Marvel's concerned, he's the top notch, but he kind of works better as a solo act, in my opinion. And I think whenever you put him, like, you could put him in a team dynamic for a little bit, but ultimately you got to get him back out on his own. And I think that's why he's a bad fit for the Avengers. Alrighty, gang. So we're going to do some runner-ups. I like this part. Basically, it's going to be 20 through 11. And I've got them in order from 20 to 11. And once again, this is what everybody voted. Okay. And I got to say, some of them got a few points, some of them not so much, because a lot of people were like, oh, hey, I like this one. I want them on the worst list, but they only gave it 1 point. So anyway, here you go. Here are the runners up. Here's 20 through 11. At number 20, we have Moondragon. At number 19 was Deadpool. Coming in at number 18 was Lady Jane, or Jane Foster Thor. Amadeus Cho's version of the Hulk was number 17. At number 16, we had the Swordsman. There was controversy, but he made the list. At 15, another solo act, Daredevil. Coming in at 14 is Robbie Reyes, the Ghost Rider. At number 12, we have Marvel's version of Superman, the Sentry. And at number 12 is Star Fox, Thanos' brother. And here's another one from the days I didn't read Marvel. At number 11, we have Echo. Okay, gang, that's the runner-ups. There you go. And we've got one more. And I've got to tell you, before we actually find out who it is, I will say that he got more votes than any... I mean, obviously, because he's number 1. But I'm talking about there was a big gap between number 1 and number 2. I myself voted for him as well, so you know what, without further ado, let's go. The number 1 worst Avenger of all time, kid you not, is Wolverine. This is something everybody thought. He is just not an Avenger. He's an X-Men. More to the point, he's the X-Men that murders people. He's an X-Men that kills people. So some characters in the Avengers would be morally against him being in the Avengers. It is absolutely the worst fit anybody could have ever thought of. And you know it had to have been a Marvel directive. Ooh, you got to put him in there because, you know, he's Wolverine and everybody loves Wolverine, right? I mean, hell, try to not put Wolverine in a comic book in the 90s. Or in the 2000s. So I guess by the time the new Avengers rolled around, you got to get both Spider-Man and Wolverine into it. And it was just, it was ridiculous. I didn't read too much of the new Avengers. It just didn't sit well with me. I think that was one of the things that caused me to say, you know what, comics, have a good day. I'm glad you're doing well, but I still kept up with DC. Marvel was a non-entity and has kind of remained that way. But there you go, gang. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your top 10? And also, don't forget, once again, go on over to I Love Comics every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or EST, which means England Standard Time, because sometimes I'm a wee bit late. I don't know why they had to come up with that nickname, but they did. They did. And we do a different topic every week. This week will be, this Tuesday, the one that's going to happen tonight, is going to be the independent characters. I've got a great idea for the next week as well, and I'm thinking top 10 characters, comic book characters that did not appear on the cover of their first appearance. So think about that as well for next Tuesday. That being said, please click like, share, subscribe. That helps out the algorithm. Make sure the notifications are on if you don't mind helping out the channel financially. We've got a link to Ko-Fi and to Patreon in the description below. Thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.